we are coming to the almost to the end of the exposition, and if you go to see last 1 month, it has been a hectic time for you, for the committee, for the church authorities. How do you see as far as the progress of it? Satisfied, happy, or well attending everyone? What it is?
Good afternoon, Kenzil, and everyone in Goa, elsewhere, watching us practically speaking about the exposition. I must say that it has been going very good for us. God's grace has accompanied us, people's prayers have aided us, and we were able to do a lot of work on this exposition. You can see today the crowd is much better organized, and thanks to the efforts of everybody who have come along. Special thanks to the volunteers from the church exposition committee, from the side of the government exposition secretariat. We must laud their efforts. There are people who are working day and night, especially in the PWD counter. There are exposition volunteers. There is the government protocol department working hand in hand with us. Then there is volunteers in the pilgrim village, Ninfa, and in the PWD counter, Gail and Richard. Every day they have been working very tirelessly to make sure that we have a smooth functioning of the exposition volunteer of the people and the devotees who come here. Special thanks and gratitude also to the volunteers inside the cathedral, outside the cathedral, and there is some portion of the outside cathedral that has no shade, and in spite of that the volunteers have been braving the heat over there. Thanks to the volunteers of the Basilica, they have been attending to the liturgical services there, taking care of their people there. And like this, there have been so many people who have been working behind the curtains. My today's interview is dedicated to all such people who every day make this exposition a huge success. And we must thank each and every one of them.
But how do you see that at the start and at the end, where even in the past few days we have seen you personally helping the senior elders, the person with disabilities, when it was a heavy rush?
Forget about me. I am just a person who is. I'm just a person who is helping. But we have seen officers, our exposition commissioner, Mr. Sandeep Jakis, personally coming practically every day during these days, taking review meetings with his, functional heads. We have seen the vice chairman, Alesh Sikher, also getting involved in the preparations, always getting involved in the decision making. We have seen Father Henry himself every day coming here at around 6 o'clock and being on the PWD counter. We have seen Father Kaitan getting involved in, the exposition closing ceremony. We have seen Patricio doing his work very silently. We have seen Father Rosario. So it is different people coming together and trying to work with their given responsibilities. And because of this, we are experiencing a lot of success. Also, we must give it up to the police personnel, traffic, and also the local uniform police people who are there on the duty every day. They have been great service, and they have done it with a smile. We have also to give credit to the our people who are visiting us. Many times we have suggested changes, we have implemented some decisions, and people have been very patient, very accommodative, and very cooperative with us, and that has helped us really.
What is the plus point that you would like to highlight from this event of exposition, right from the start till now?
See, I can say that there was a methodical planning, and we must, the takeaway from this exposition, I would say, is a collaboration between the church and the government. We have to work always with the government of the day, and we, from the beginning, our efforts were to see that how we can positively engage with the government to make this exposition a grand success and to make it a wonderful experience for our pilgrim and for the tourists visiting us. And it has given us huge dividends in terms of the collaboration, the commitment, the dedication that we saw from the government especially. So that is one takeaway that I feel we can foster upon our collaboration with the government at every level, and positively engage the government to make them do things in a very nicer way, and they have come a long way. So that is first takeaway. The second takeaway of this exposition is to plan, to precision, to go into minute details of how to plan this massive exercise. And that's why we have had so many meetings. I think so the meetings must have been almost 60, 70 meetings in spread over 6 months, or maybe even more than that. Government and church authorities meeting, various inspections. Though we began a little late due to rains and things like that, but we were on time to finish all the major infrastructural uh, facilities that were there. The third thing that we want to highlight is the cleanliness aspect. You can see that Old Goa is, before the exposition, it was really in a very, very bad shape. It was mess, it was large garbage that was strewn all over the place. But when we brought this agency, RMNS, and they have done till date, they have been really doing a wonderful service to maintain the cleanliness, the hygiene, and make Old Goa green and tidy. The last thing I would say that it has been the cooperation of the people at large. Thousands of people have thronged to this place, and they have cooperated with whatever we have told them, or we have advised them, or we have given them. There has not been an instance where people have not cooperated. Yes, there have been some instances where people, because of the long queues, they were getting a little anxious, they were getting a little angry, but that was sorted. But over and above, the fourth takeaway is the people and the committee's participation and collaboration.
You go to see in the last 1 month or before the start of the exposition till now, there has been a coordination between the government and the church authorities, and wherever we could go highlight, we have seen you being the coordinator between the church and the government to see all those things are in place. How were you able to manage all this?
See, as I have said in one interview, I am a pillar priest, but I was co-opted in this committee by Father Henry and the Archdiocese, and my job was very clear that I am supposed to liaison with the church and the government. So in that manner, I have not done anything on my own. I have always consulted it with my superiors and taken their voice to the government, to their exposition secretariat, and taken the exposition secretariats, the commissioner's voice, the vice chairman's voice, and the committees, the government committee's voice to our exposition committee. This has been my role basically. And there have been many other people who have been doing this. Father Henry himself was involved with the government committee as well. Yes, I was able to contribute my talents and my kind of working to the exposition. It is not a privilege, I would say. It is a call to service. I always like this word service, because in whatever way I could serve, sometimes I was able to contribute to the committee by making them laugh. So I would crack a few jokes and make them laugh. If you ask me how did we collaborate, yes, we had a wonderful time every time we met. Every time we did some serious work to plan the exposition. And I think so after the 5th we will miss all this action, and it will be normal time for us, but this will be one of my most memorable experiences and memorable time of my life.
But everybody was thinking, where will the government coordinate with the church? That time Father Lawrence came. So was that a plus point from your side?
There was, I wouldn't say that government had not ever said that they would not cooperate with the exposition. There was a little fear and anxiety in some people's minds. There was some skepticism, but I think so that was laid to rest. I wouldn't say that because I have come. I'm a small person. I was just called in, as I have said, to be a liaison officer and to contribute my little talents to this exposition committee. I worked under the exposition committee, especially the convener, Father Henry, and we found that the Chief Minister came along very well, Dr. Pramod Sawant, and we thank him he appointed first of all a wonderful committee to us. He gave us an exposition commissioner who was very experienced man, having a vast experience, Revenue Secretary Mr. Sandeep Jakis. Then he gave us two vice chairmen to work with. And he himself, the Chief Minister Dr. Pramod Sawant himself, practically on a month basis or on a fortnightly basis, he would keep a track on all that would discuss. Yes, there was a little delay again, I say that, to execute works because of the rains, but there was no let up. There was every time we had faced some difficulties, we approached the CM. He was very prompt enough to give us facilities, to give us last minute adjustments. He brought in some contractors and this work was made easy. Having said that, there have been times where people might have doubts in their mind, but to our mind, at least to my mind, there was no doubt that we would be able to deliver very smooth functioning of the exposition.
And as we as we come to the end of the exposition, you definitely will have to, what would be your message to people of Goa, for everybody who have been visiting as a devotee, as a person who would come for mass or everything?
My message to the people of Goa and the people, our diaspora basically, is that we must preserve old Goa, its sanctity, its cleanliness, its hygiene, and we must maintain this as a UNESCO site, World Heritage Site. Before the exposition could begin, we saw a lot of hawkers, we saw a lot of carts that were there in wrong places. I wish and I pray that government continues this action to clean up old Goa and to keep it safe and to keep it green, neat and tidy for the rest of the year. I would wish that we take it up also, the church also takes it up with the government to make sure that this kind of a few illegalities that are taking place do not happen. Like the hawkers, and there are other vendors who have just mushroomed in this place. That needs to be spruced up, and that place has to have that sanctity. And we have to preserve such places, not only the churches in Old Goa, we have to preserve our temples, we have to preserve religious places and the sanctity of these places. We have to make sure that there are no illegalities in such places. Secondly, we would like to say that we have to work towards collaboration, a greater collaboration between the church and the government. Between us, it is sometimes we need to engage the government of the day, irrespective of their governance or irrespective of how they function as a government or different fronts. But if we positively engage the government on such things, I think so a lot more can be achieved.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you. Thank you.